Welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to talk on the topic how we populate our tables. We're doing this with the insert statement, but before we jump to some examples, let's get to some key points. The insert statement is a VML statement, so we need to perform a commit or rollback after executing it, or the data won't be visible for other users on the database. It will be present only for our session. We can do the insertion of one or more rows at once, and just to know, the insertion of views is possible, but for example, if you have a simple view on a table, the data is gonna end on the table because the actual view does not contain any data at all. It is just pointing to some table. Let's go to the examples to see how this works. For this example, I'm going to create a simple table, which is going to contain 4 columns. The car ID of type number, and it will have a not null constraint to it, 2 columns of string type, and 1 of a date type. So let's create that table. So that table is created, and we can check that it's empty. So it doesn't have any values populated to it. The simplest insert into table statement is as follows. First, the keyword insert into, and into which table we are inserting the data. In the first bracket, we are defining the columns to which the data goes to, followed by the values keyword, and in the bracket, the actual values that go to the table. In this case, for car ID, I'm populating a value of 1. For car manufacturer, I'm populating a string of Tesla, and a car model, string Cybertruck. The manufacturer date is going to be SYSDATE. As you can see, I'm executing in my values brackets a function which will return just the current date time. Let's execute this insert. We can see 1 row is inserted. And let's check the results on the actual table. As we can see, there is 1 row present. We could also insert a record into a table without defining to which column it goes. But in this case, we would have to populate every column of that table. The syntax for that is pretty much the same as for the previous one. It is insert into the table name and straight away values keyword. And in the brackets, values which go to the table. So let's execute this insertion. I have a row inserted, and let's check the results. As we can see, another row has been populated to the table. Have in mind, with the basic insert statement, the columns do not have to be in the order in which the table is created. So for example, I could put the car ID on 3rd place, like this, but then the value will also have to be on the 3rd place. So let's just make some changes to it. So we can see the difference, and I'm gonna insert it. Let's check the results. As we can see, that row has been inserted as desired. The car ID, although it is not on the 1st place, it ended up on the right column in the table. Excellent. When we are doing insertion, Oracle takes care for implicit conversion. That means if we do not provide a correct data type to the value, it will try to convert it to the value the table requires. In this example, for car ID, I'm passing into a string. Also for the manufacturer date, which should be in the table a date type, we are passing in, again, a string. Oracle is going to take care of this. It's going to check if it contains only numbers, and it's going to convert it to a number data type. The same goes for the date column. Let's insert this. As we can see, 1 row has been inserted, and let's check the results. Again, we can see the conversion has succeeded, and we have another row with the desired date. Note that there are some limitations to conversion. So for example, if I would provide here a wrong value, for example 4a, Oracle database could not convert this to a number 4 because we are passing also a string. Just for test purpose, let's execute this command and it should error. As we can see, we got the invalid number error. With the insert statement, I can also insert multiple rows at once. We can do this by following the next steps. I'm going to create another table named Cars Ford Archive, which will have the same columns defined as in my cars table that we created prior. So let's create this table, and let's check that it is empty. Okay, so no records present over here. I'm gonna insert values in my cars for the archive table by doing the select from the cars table. I'm doing this as insert into the table name, and then the part where the value goes, we are just executing a select command. So I'm selecting all of the columns. I know now for sure that they are the same from the table from which we wanted to get the data. And I'm adding also a condition where car manufacturer equals Ford, so we don't insert all of the values from the cars table. Let's execute this, and 2 rows have been inserted. As 2 rows from the cars table had car manufacturer as Ford. Let's check this table to see the results. And we can see 2 records have been inserted. There is also a way to insert multiple lines at once, just with one command, into a table by executing the following statement. It is insert all, and then, not separated by the comma, but with into cars for the archive values, and then followed by the values. And we can add any number of this kind of insertion. In this case, I'm inserting 2 rows, and very important, at the end, we have to execute a select from dual or any other table. This is just a, let's call it a trick insertion, and it's not covered by the exam, but it is good to know it. Let's execute this, and we can see 2 rows have been inserted. Let's check the results, and we can see 2 rows present over here. Let's delete our tables as we're not going to need them. This is a very simple lecture, but very important. So please remember the complete syntax and the rules of insertion data to the tables, as this is going to be definitely tested on the exam. See you on the next one.